Do you ever feel a glitch in the story of your life? A recurring pattern of self-sabotage that you can't explain? A persistent anxiety about money, even when you are financially secure? A familiar sorrow that feels ancient and somehow not entirely your own? We are taught to look for the cause of our struggles within ourselves. We believe it is our character flaw, our personal weakness, our lack of willpower. And so we fight. We try to fix ourselves. We go to war with these patterns, and we wonder why we never seem to win. But what if you have been fighting the wrong war? What if you are fighting someone else's ghost? What if the anxiety you feel is not your anxiety, but your grandmother's? Today, we will embark on one of the most profound and liberating explorations in all of psychology. We will journey into the deep, often hidden territory that Carl Jung called the family shadow. This is the psychic inheritance we all receive, the unhealed traumas, the unspoken griefs, and the invisible loyalties that are passed down through the generations in silence. This is not about blaming the past. This is about having the courage to finally see the invisible chains that may be holding you back. It is the work of differentiating what is yours to carry and what is, at long last, yours to release. If you have ever felt like you were living out a script you did not write, this is your invitation to become the author of your own life.
The most powerful chains are not forged from hatred. They are forged from love. There is an invisible inheritance we all receive, passed down in the silence between words. It is a legacy of unspoken rules, unhealed griefs, and invisible agreements. Carl Jung understood that alongside our personal shadow, there exists a family shadow, a collective psychic atmosphere we are born into. And the most powerful force within this shadow is a misguided and profoundly human impulse. It is the impulse of unconscious loyalty. It is the secret subterranean vow a child's soul makes to its family system. A vow that often sounds like this: I will not be happier than you were. I will not be more successful than you were. I will carry this anxiety for you so you don't have to. I will remain loyal to the story of our family's suffering. Let me tell you the story of a man we will call David. David was a brilliant architect, full of talent and vision. But his career was a repeating story of near misses. Every time he was on the verge of a major commission, something would happen. He would miss a deadline. A strange self-doubt would paralyze him. He would sabotage himself, and he didn't know why. He came to our work believing he was fundamentally flawed, lazy, afraid of success. But as we began to excavate his story, a different picture emerged. David's grandfather had been an immigrant who started a small construction business. He worked his entire life and came close to greatness, but a bad partnership in the final hour ruined him. David's father, witnessing this trauma, chose a different path. He took a safe, stable government job. He was a good provider, but a quiet sadness, a feeling of unlived potential,
always clung to him. The unspoken myth of David's family, the emotional air he breathed as a child, was the story of the noble struggle, the story of almost. The unwritten rule was, people like us work hard, we are honorable, but we never quite break through. And so, on an unconscious level, every time David approached the breakthrough his father and grandfather never had, it felt like a betrayal. His self-sabotage was not an act of weakness. It was an act of love. It was his soul's misguided attempt to remain a loyal member of his tribe. To succeed where they had failed would have meant leaving them behind. And for a child's soul, there is no greater terror than being cast out. This is not a conscious choice. It is a primal contract signed in the invisible ink of a child's need to belong. This unconscious loyalty can manifest in countless ways. For some, it is an upper limit on success or happiness, like David's. For others, it is the role of the designated feeling carrier. If you grew up in a home where your parents were full of unacknowledged anxiety, you, as a child, may have unconsciously volunteered to feel it for them. You became the anxious child to give their feeling a home, and you may still be carrying that anxiety today, long after you've left home, wondering why you can't seem to shake it. It is not yours. For others still, it is the repetition of a pattern, unconsciously reenacting your mother's difficult marriage or your father's financial struggles in a desperate, futile attempt to somehow get it right this time, to heal the original wound by reliving it. And you find yourself in the same trap with the same feeling of helpless frustration. This is the family shadow at work. And it is the reason why sometimes all the personal shadow work in the world isn't enough. Because you are not just wrestling with your own demons, you are wrestling with the ghosts of your ancestors. So pause with me here. Take a gentle breath. I invite you to bring to mind one of your own recurring struggles, a pattern that feels deeply entrenched, stubbornly resistant to change. And instead of asking the familiar, painful question, "What is wrong with me?" I invite you to ask a different, more compassionate, and more curious question. Just let it hang in the air of your own quiet heart. Whose story might I be trying to honor with this struggle? You don't need an answer right now. Just the courage to ask the question is the beginning of loosening the chain. This realization can be heavy. It can be filled with a profound sadness for the pain that has been passed down. But it is also the beginning of your freedom. It is the moment you realize you have been a character in a play that began long before you were born. And with that realization comes the possibility of writing a new scene. So, how do we begin this delicate archaeological dig into our own past? How do we find the courage to see these invisible chains, not to blame those who forged them, but to finally, lovingly, set ourselves free?
The goal of this deep work is not to cut ties with your family. It is not to blame. It is not to forget. The goal is to differentiate, to honor your roots without being imprisoned by them, to love your ancestors without having to repeat their suffering. This is a sacred and delicate surgery of the soul, and it begins with making the unconscious conscious. I will offer you a few simple yet powerful tools for this archaeological dig. These are practices you can do in the quiet of your own journal. The first tool is what we might call an emotional genogram. You draw a simple family tree, your parents, your grandparents. And next to each name, you don't write their date of birth. You write the primary emotional atmosphere they carried. What were the spoken and unspoken rules about feelings in your home? Was anger forbidden? Was sadness seen as a weakness? Was joy something to be suspicious of? You begin to map the emotional landscape you grew up in. The second tool is the question of loyalty. You ask yourself with radical honesty, in what ways might my struggles be keeping me loyal to my family's story? What am I afraid would happen if I became happier or more successful or more peaceful than they were? Who would I be betraying? Often, the answer is shocking in its simplicity. The fear is not of failure. The fear is of being alone, of being cast out from the tribe for being different. Let's return to David, the architect who kept sabotaging his own success. As he did this work, he drew his emotional genogram. He saw the quiet disappointment of his father, the tragic near miss of his grandfather. The family myth was clear. The world is a place where your dreams are ultimately crushed. When he asked the question of loyalty, the answer that came back from his soul was a child's voice. If I succeed, Dad will feel like a failure. If I am happy, it will highlight his sadness. It is not safe to shine too brightly. And with this realization came not blame, but a wave of profound self-compassion. He was not lazy. He was not flawed. He was a loyal son. He was a loving grandson. He was just loyal to the wrong thing. He was loyal to their pain instead of their potential. This awareness is the key that opens the prison door. But to walk out, we often need a ritual, a conscious act to mark the shift from the old loyalty to a new one. So I invite you now to a small, powerful visualization, a ritual you can practice, the ritual of giving back the burden. Just close your eyes if that feels safe for you. Take a deep, slow breath and bring to mind the ancestor or the parent from whom you feel you have inherited a particular burden, a specific anxiety, a deep-seated sadness. In your mind's eye, see them standing before you with love and with respect. Now imagine that burden as a physical object. Perhaps it is a heavy stone or a dark, heavy cloak. Feel its weight in your own body, in your own hands. Acknowledge how long you have carried it for them. And now, with all the respect and love in your heart, gently, respectfully,
place that burden on the ground at their feet. It is not an act of anger. It is an act of clarity. And in the quiet of your own mind, you can say these words or words like them. I honor your journey. I honor your struggle. Thank you for all that you have carried. This burden is yours, not mine. Out of love for you and out of love for myself, I now give it back. I release myself from this story so that I may live my own. Just breathe here for a moment. Feel the lightness in your own body, the space where the burden used to be. This is not about cutting them off. It is about setting a sacred internal boundary. When David did this ritual, he cried, not with guilt, but with a deep, cleansing grief. He was grieving the pain of his father and his grandfather. And in that grief, he found a new kind of love for them. A love that was free from the unconscious obligation to repeat their fate. This is the heart of the work. It is the understanding that you can honor your ancestors, not by staying trapped in their cage, but by flying to the heights that they could only dream of. But what happens after this great release? What does a life look like when you are finally free to live it on your own terms? What is the ultimate gift of breaking the chain?
The quiet click of an unlocked chain is the sound of a new life beginning. When you consciously release the burdens that are not yours to carry, an immense amount of psychic energy returns to you. It is the energy that was once tied up in guilt, in self-sabotage, in the exhausting performance of a story that was not your own. And you feel it not as a manic high, but as a deep, quiet, and solid sense of peace. A feeling of lightness, a feeling of finally being at home in your own skin. This is not an act of betrayal. This is the ultimate act of love. You are not dishonoring your ancestors. You are becoming their alchemist. You are taking the lead of their unlived lives and their unhealed pain, and you are transforming it into the gold of your own conscious existence. Your healing is the greatest honor you can pay them. It is the act of completing a journey that they were unable to finish. You are not just healing yourself. You are healing forward for the generations to come. And you are healing backward, offering a strange and beautiful kind of peace to the ghosts of the past. You become what is known as a chain breaker, a liberated descendant. Let's return to David one last time. After his ritual of release, after he gave the burden of almost back to his father and grandfather with love, something profound shifted in him. The next time a major opportunity arose, the familiar wave of guilt and anxiety came, but this time it was different. It was quieter, a faint echo, not a roaring tide. And he had a new voice inside him, the voice of his own wise adult. And that voice said, This is not disloyalty. This is fulfillment. I am doing this for them. He took the commission. He poured his heart into the project. He created a building that was not just functional, but beautiful. A testament to the artistry that had been waiting in his lineage for generations. He did not become arrogant. He became grateful. He had transformed his family's legacy of pain into his own personal mission of creation. This is the final, most beautiful paradox. When you break the invisible chain of unconscious loyalty, you do not leave your family behind. You finally become free to love them for who they are, not for who your inner child needs them to be. Your love is no longer contaminated by the poison of unspoken resentment and the grief of unmet needs. You can look at their struggles with a deep and genuine compassion because you are no longer a prisoner of them. You can honor their story because you are finally free to write your own. You stop unconsciously reenacting their trauma, and you start consciously creating your own joy. The struggle to prove yourself, the fear of outshining them, the guilt of your own happiness, all of it begins to dissolve. You are no longer an actor in their play. You have stepped onto your own stage. Pause with me here one last time. Just feel into that possibility. The freedom to live your own life fully and without apology. To carry the love of your lineage in your heart without carrying the weight of their wounds on your back. What would you do with all that liberated energy? What new story is waiting to be written through you? This is not just a psychological adjustment. It is a spiritual liberation. It is the work of stepping into your own unique destiny. A destiny that honors the past without being bound by it. But once we have begun to heal these inherited vertical relationships, the ones that were given to us, our attention naturally turns to the horizontal ones, the relationships we consciously choose. How do our friends, these chosen family members, act as a mirror for our soul? What do they reveal about the work we have yet to do?
And so, the work of the liberated descendant begins. It is a quiet work, a work of profound peace. The journey into the family shadow is one of the most courageous acts of the soul. You have looked at the ghosts of the past, not as enemies to be fought, but as ancestors to be honored and to be released. You have learned the most important difference in the world, the difference between what is yours to carry and what is not. This is the work that Carl Jung pointed to as the heart of individuation. It is the act of becoming a conscious individual, free from the unconscious pull of the collective. In your healing, you have done something remarkable. You have taken the pain of your lineage, a story that may have been repeating for generations, and you have given it a new ending. You have become an alchemist. Your healing is not a betrayal of your family. It is the greatest gift you could ever give them. You are not just healing your own life. You are healing forward, stopping the chain of trauma from reaching your children. And you are healing backward, offering a quiet, retroactive peace to the souls that came before you.
This is not a metaphor. It is a profound, energetic truth. And the energy that comes from this is immense. The energy that was once locked in a prison of unconscious loyalty is now yours. Yours to create with. Yours to love with. Yours to live with. You are no longer a character in a story that was written for you. You have picked up the pen. And here is the final, beautiful paradox. When you release your family from the unconscious obligation to heal you, you become free to truly love them. Your love is no longer a transaction. It is no longer a child's cry for approval. It becomes a conscious adult choice. You can look upon their flaws and struggles with a new kind of compassion, because their story is no longer your cage. So I invite you now to a simple act of noticing, a gentle anchoring of this new freedom. This week, I invite you not to break any rules or perform any grand rituals. Simply notice. Notice one unspoken emotional rule that you have been living by. It might be, don't be too loud. Don't talk about money. Always put others first. You do not have to do anything about it. Simply see it. Acknowledge its presence, like an old piece of furniture you never realized was in the room. This simple, quiet act of making the unconscious conscious is the very essence of freedom. In the comments below, I invite you to share your act of noticing. Simply write, "I am noticing the rule about," and fill in the blank. Let this space be a testament to our collective courage to see the invisible chains, and in the seeing, to begin to dissolve them. But once we have begun to heal these inherited vertical relationships, the ones that were given to us, our attention naturally turns to the horizontal ones, the relationships we consciously choose. How do our friends, these chosen family members, act as a mirror for our soul? What do they reveal about our own projections, our own shadow, and the work we have yet to do?